What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 18th of June, 2023. Already more than halfway through June. Here comes July. Oh my God, what's going on in the world? I don't know, but I'll put links below to the Patreon where you can go over all this week's news with me. Definitely been another maddening week. Let's start off with Pfizer sees antibiotic supply running out as shortages worsens. Well, surely they'll come up with a vaccine or something to take its place, right? Australia approves mandatory Bill Gates mRNA vaccines for all agriculture. All agriculture. You don't mind if we shoot this in all the food, do you? Let's see. ESPN director dead at 42. Medical emergency. Completely mysterious. Nobody knows why. Check out this now. I don't know if this is new or if this is old. I haven't seen this one. But look how this guard is just disregarded as the somebodies walk by. They just drag him out of the way. And then some guy over here comes and oh, nothing to see here. Never mind this. No, never mind this. Hope that guy's all right. Don't know what happened. Former BlackRock exec Ed Down says younger people are dying at a higher rate. Well, just listen to what he has to say here.
Ed, I have to stress that you're not a scientist or a doctor, but your book is about vaccination and COVID-19. Cause unknown.
Tell us about your... I have to stress this is not medical information. This is just, he's a financial analyst.
And your theories.
Yeah, I'm a Wall Street guy, and we analyze trends, and we analyze... standard deviations and all sorts of anomalies in the financial markets to try to get ahead of the curve and make money for our clients. So as a trend follower, a trend analyst, I noticed something strange going on.
I better just stop it right there. I'll put a link to it. Tell it to this little girl she can't get a lung transplant because she's not vaccinated. Here's a little bit of her story.
She has to take it because everyone in the rest of the hospital is vaccinated, so she comes in unvaccinated. She's a threat.
The people in the hospital are vaccinated, but she's
not. That's
exactly
what they said. She will be a threat to the patients, not just the patients.
A threat to the vaccinated?
Who's in the hospital but are vaccinated.
But how is she a threat if they're vaccinated?
Because she's unvaccinated, they said that she will be a big risk and can carry and pass the...
But if you're vaccinated, you're protected, aren't you? I'm confused here. Not the first time we've seen this. Other news going on. Trump pleads not guilty. No further conditions imposed. No travel restrictions. No cash bond imposed. Gateway pundit, of course, I was guilty. I was watching CNN. I saw their heads melting. Oh, my God. He did it like a boss. Right after the court, he went to this restaurant. Nobody was expecting him to make a stop.
Whatever this spectacle is that's
of course, they call it a spectacle. They're singing happy birthday to him. And then Jake Tapper, he says to the control room, we don't need to watch this anymore.
A series of federal felonies.
They were just melting down over it.
Mishandling
it was hilarious.
The most sensitive government documents that we have and for obstruction of justice, along with Walt Naughton, who is charged with intentionally setting up lies to the grand jury, to the FBI. Any way you look at this, and again, despite whatever may be going on in that restaurant, this case isn't going to be settled
to the control room. We don't need to see any more of that.
It's going to be settled in the court based on the facts and law.
The folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that.
Yeah, we don't need to see his people loving him now. This is just nonsense. Hillary Clinton has something to say about it. And be advised, the guy asking the question is wearing a dress.
Republicans claim that you did the same thing and got off scot-free. Why did your friend Jim Comey let you off so
Anyone out there in law enforcement, feel free to comment.
easy?
That's a really good question. I can't figure that one out. I do think it's
a big club, and you ain't in it. Other news going on. Senator says FD 1023, foreign national who bribed Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, alleges 17 audio recordings of conversations. Of course, nothing will be done about this, I guarantee you. Biden just stares creepily into the camera this week. Let's see. He's done talking to this guy over here. Watch the way he looks into the camera here. So creepy. You would think that the shot was frozen, but it's not. Never mind these peasants trying to ask their questions. Look at one at the bottom. Biden LGBT Pride Party goes off the rails. Yes, what's going on in the White House garden? Boobs on the White House lawn next to Joe Biden. Be they synthetic or whatever, I will not be using the old Blog TV emoticon I used to use, if anybody remembers that. Anyway, over to financial news. How made U.S. stock nexus fared on the Friday? Let's see, the Dow Jones fell 108 on Friday. However, for the week, the Dow was up 422, 1.2%, closed at 34,299. Put a link to the market recap data. CPI tumbles. Inflation outpaces wages for 26 straight month. Inflation outpaces wages for 26 straight month. Yeah, the economy's great. U.S. food prices soar 8.2% online. Rent up 8.1%. Taxpayers pay stiff price for Biden Congress spending sprees. Put a link to that. Treasury Secretary says to expect a slow decline in U.S. dollar as reserve currency. No shit, eh? Put a link to that. I got a GLP thread here that goes over. I just put the thread because there's several tweets here regarding latest U.S. Treasury data. Shows we're on an unsustainable path. I've been saying this for 15 years. Put a link to that. On top of everything else, there's a global cocoa shortage. Be advised, chocolate doom. Put a link to this from Herohead. There's going to be problems with chocolate in the future. Conservatives call for Kellogg boycott after the trans penis was posing with Tony the Tiger at the Tony Awards. I'll put a link to this. Apparently, they got an Instagram shot down there. Garth Brooks blasted for calling people who are boycotting Bud Light assholes. I heard that his investors are now backing out on him. I don't have a link on that, but it's out there. Put a link to that. Starbucks denies union allegations of ban on pride decorations. I don't believe that at all. Starbucks, come on. Amazon sells penis-themed neon signs listed for kids. Penis-themed neon signs listed as for kids. This is where we are. Couple miscellaneous, speaking of Starbucks, jury orders Starbucks to pay $25 million to manager fired for being white. I think they were trying to appease Black Lives Matter. She's going to get $25 million. Good for her. And I got one at the bottom. The Scoop says Fox sends Tucker Carlson cease and desist. Apparently Fox is all freaking out that Tucker has taken all of his viewers over to his new Twitter show. I haven't seen it yet, but rave reviews about it. Something about he's still under contract with Fox. Well, Fox, that was a very bad business decision, okay? You screwed yourself on that one. Over to New World Order Police Day news, where I stop and ask you, please share the report. There's a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of AI stuff coming up people need to know about. Let's start off with, I'm more political. George Soros, 92, hands reins over to his son, Alex, who promises to push more than $1.5 billion a year to back liberal causes, far-left candidates. I'll put a link to this daily. I got a second link on that. Alex Soros vows to eradicate conservatives from the internet. I'm 100 times worse than my dad. We'll see what this brings. Jack Dorsey says he was surprised by what he saw in the Twitter files. He didn't know about the government doing all these things and monitoring everyone and being in bed with Twitter. Come on, Jack. Seriously? You built the damn thing. Gavin Newsom, once again pushing gun control this week. He wants to have the 28th Amendment, raise minimum age to buy a firearm, yada, yada. Hey, Gavin, do you happen to read the responses on your tweets? Usually they just turn the responses off, but hell of a lot of responses. You should really go over it, see what the people have to say. Other news, 42% of CEOs say AI could destroy humanity within 5 to 10 years. That's from Microsoft Start. I got a number of these. Check this out. Non-organic entities and emotionless algorithms will soon dominate Earth. In other words, AI will take over. Coming soon. Naturalnews.com. WEF calls for AI to rewrite the Bible, create religions that are actually correct. The World Economic Forum calls for artificial intelligence to rewrite the Bible. Scary pass we're walking down here, people. Look at this AI chatbot preaches at church in Germany. Looks like unveiling of the Antichrist beast system. AI is preaching to the people in Germany. I would love people's thoughts. Mainline United Methodists see more than 5,000 congregants leave amid allegations over sex and gender. Put a link to this. People are walking away. Largest Catholic healthcare system, however, in America is performing transgender surgery on children, providing other gender-affirming care services. That's from the Gateway Pundit. Couple more here. Sesame Street back at it again, as they were last week on Arch Street. We celebrate inclusion, belonging. Definitely not the Sesame Street I grew up with. And for the older kids, we got this. Check it out. Yeah. They don't want to hear it. Well, guess what? They don't have a choice. They're threatened with like Saturday school or some shit.
Wow, Miss Clark.
Listen. Why are you showing this to kids?
Hey, I'll warn you guys now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off. Okay.
You will watch it or you will pay the consequences. I think at my school they called it Wednesday school. I've got that quite a few times. You know how many times I showed up? None. I think I knew at a young age that it was all bullshit. Anyway, over to World War III news. We got some stuff going on. Be advised, Biden administration announces additional security assistance for Ukraine. June 13, 2022, more assistance, 325 more million, you don't mind, do ya? Put a link to it. Russian soldiers seize American Bradleys and German Leopards, and video from RT. Put a link to that. We got U.S. set to approve depleted uranium tank rounds for Ukraine. This come out June 13. Put a link to that. Man, oh man, Russian state TV warns U.S. a nuclear strike will happen. Nuclear strike will happen. In the crosshairs. This is from Newsweek. Daily Mail says NATO continues... NATO countries led by Poland may be willing to put troops on the ground in Ukraine, potentially digging in alliance with the Russia war, blah, blah, blah. Put a link to this from Daily Mail. Got a couple tweets here. NATO, be advised. As I reported last week, Germany kicks off largest multinational Air Force deployment in NATO history. 10,000 personnel from more than 250 aircraft. Allied partner nations, this big thing going on, man. Be ready for something to kick off at any moment. There's drills going on all over the place. The Pentagon freaking out about a potential war with China. Here's one from Politico. Put a link to this. Speaking of China, Homeland Committee Chairman says China likely sending military personnel into the United States. Let me guess, across the open southern border? How many years we've been screaming about it? It would not surprise me at all. Chinese and Palestinian leaders announced establishment of strategic partnerships, just Chinese TV, put a link to that. The U.S. is preparing for the evacuation of American citizens out of Taiwan. Put a link to that. I don't know the source, but check it out. Iranian president arrives in Cuba as part of South America trip. The Iranian president is in Cuba, 90 miles from Key West. U.S. Energy Department, other agencies hit by global hacking spree and miscellaneous news. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. I got the earthquake set up for 6 points and above for the past week. Had some big ones this week. I know I got quite a few alarms on my phone. We had a 6.2 on the 16th South Pacific Ocean, another 6.0 South Pacific. Another one in the South Pacific, South China Sea had a 6.2. That other one in the South Pacific was 7.2. And then we had a 6.2 on the 11th North Pacific Ocean. So the Earth is rocking and rolling. A lot of earthquakes. I didn't see too much on volcanoes this week. Of course, we got the one going on Hawaii. Big story this week, heading into this weekend. Texas town devastated by tornado. 5 dead across the south. You had these big tornadoes took out this whole town, and I think it was northern Texas. And you had tornadoes over in Florida. You had all across the south. You had tornadoes. My thoughts go out to everybody in Tornado Alley, man. DVD. Look at this. This weatherman reports DVD size hail. DVD size hail. Many kids wondering what a DVD is. Put a link to that. Portion of I-95, everybody's already aware of this, closed for months after fire collapsed. I think this truck was trying to take a turn too sharply underneath this overpass, and he crashed and he burned and the whole thing. I mean, the guy lost his life. Thoughts to his family. They recovered a body in the wreckage. I think it was just him that died, but still just a tragic accident, pulling like that. So that brought the highway down, as you can see there. Apparently they're going to fill it all in with dirt so they can pave it back over. I don't know, but there's a live camera out there somewhere where they got 24-hour live coverage. I don't have a link on that, though. 3 Britons missing after Egypt boat fire. Be advised, there's problems in sea. There's also problems in the air. Plane safely lands after a huge bird stuck in the windshield over in Ecuador. Sometimes the bird doesn't fly into the engine. Sometimes it flies right into the windshield. Check this out. Look at this guy, man. Saved his plane after a bird. Poor bird. I mean, he's toast, but the guy landed his plane safely, so right on. Grand Canyon National Park is country's most deadly. Well, it is called Grand Canyon, and it's mostly those assholes that are trying to balance themselves on one foot while taking a selfie hanging over the edge. Do they really count? Put a link to that. You don't want to talk about deadly? How about falling into a glacier? Check. Watch this skier falls into a glacier. You're just skiing along, and oh my God, there's a big hole! Check it out! I guess he's alive because he was able to get this video out, so I can stop right there, but wow. That scared the shit out of me, man. Put a link to that. Holy shit, this is one of the most compelling testimonies I've heard happening in Antarctica. This guy here, listen to this, a minute of this.
Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations,
what's going on in
are
Antarctica?
Also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment.
I'll put a link to that video. Very good stuff. Go over it. You know, there's a lot of stuff about the ice wall, and I don't know what the truth is, but I don't think we've been told the truth about anything, ever. Other news, crashed UFO recovered by U.S. military, distorted space and time, leaving investigator nauseous and disoriented when she... Check it out. There more UFO news, and I got one here. Pentagon UFO whistleblower claims people have been killed by non-human intelligences. Says U.S. government will do anything to protect its secret. Whether you believe in aliens or not, I don't know. To me, fascinating stuff. Over to strange and bizarre news. I got several videos I'm going to play. Be advised, some adult content coming up. 13 shot, stabbed, hit by vehicles at block party in Syracuse, New York. Well, you know, of course we got to ban the guns, right? But I think we should still ban knives and vehicles, too, because they're obviously very dangerous. Put a link to this. They got a video report on that. Dude fights a man with a gun while streaming live on Facebook. Don't know where this happened. Somewhere in America. This guy's coming up with a gun.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Wait, come on.
Oh, yeah, you got a gun.
No, he didn't see me, cuz. Come on.
I think he does. Oh, there it goes. You do hear a gunshot at some point, I think. Yeah, there it went. Mama shot me in the leg. Put a link to that. Speaking of gun, well, look at that coming up. Video of man this one first. He's apparently got a problem with somebody on his little girl's school bus. He gets on a school bus and starts terrorizing a bunch of kids. Back to the guns, though. They was letting off. Chick gets into a wild shootout on Instagram Live. So Facebook and Instagram, the places to be for these wild shootouts.
Put it down, baby. Put it down. Put it down. Let's get one. Y'all get all that cap, but I want to fight. Oh, you want to shoot?
You want to shoot?
You want to shoot? You want to shoot? Oh, okay. You want to shoot? You want to shoot? I got one too. I got one too. I got one too.
The Wild West out there, man. This guy here, cleaning worker caught in train's electrical current. I don't know if this is new or old. I don't think I've ever seen this one, though. Poor guy. Rest in peace. You don't mess with 10,000 volts, man. Father fakes his own death to teach family a lesson, then shows up at a helicopter. I didn't look too much into this. I don't know what's going on there. I just thought it was strange. Get out, you stupid bee. Trump supporters force British Sky News reporter out of Miami cafe after she asked if he's ready to go. You go into a cafe full of Trump supporters and you say, President Trump, are you ready to go to jail? What do you think's going to happen? They forced you out of the place. Setting the bull's horns on fire. What do you think's going to happen when you try to set a bull's horns on fire? Check this out. I don't feel sorry for any of these assholes. What are you doing trying to set a bull's horns on fire? This one guy here, he gets like tossed around. You watch the way he lands. You can just tell he probably broke his back. He gets tossed up in the air here. There he goes. What are you doing? Before he was the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski was mind control test subject. I guess Ted Kaczynski died in prison. This is a Washington Post article talking about how he was a CIA mind control test subject. No doubt. Crazy to see that on the Washington Post. Austin apartment complex enacts late night curfew, prompting questions of legality.
2 minutes ago, residents of the Southeast Austin apartment complex are now under a mandatory curfew that they say was put into place with no explanation.
The apartment complex management themselves imposed at 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. I would love to live in that apartment complex. And you just don't want to know my... You can't tell people that... I got a couple more here. Bill Cosby sued by 9 Nevada women accusing... This is a new article. This came out June 15. They're still after Magello pudding. And we got here, one at the bottom. I do it to blow off steam. Penn State professor arrested for having sex with his dog after getting caught on trail camera. I just don't even know what to say to that. For all the news, please check out my videos over at my favorites. $20 million bond set for man who can... This is a heartbreaking story just coming out of Ohio, I think it is. This man executed his 3 sons with a rifle. This just breaking in the past 24 hours. I don't even know what to say to that. Religious groups protest Dodgers Pride Night. This is the... oh my God! You gotta watch the anti-plastics lady. The lawmaker brings up. Well, you know that everything your glasses are plastic, your phone's plastic. Tell me an alternative to plastic, lady. Alabama tornado coverage. Frankie McDonald's got one over there about 2022 AE1 headed toward Earth. July 4 near Earth asteroid coming in. Check out my favorites for updated news. Thank you to everybody. Keep putting out content. You guys are doing awesome. I'm a run-on sentence once again. Where is the punctuation in my speech? I had a couple shout-outs. Shout out to James Woods. I got to give a shout out to James Woods. He retweeted something that just made me smile. I don't know if you can see what's going on here. The lady's trying to paint the wall, right? She can't understand why it's not going away. You ever see that Family Guy episode where Brian's got that flashlight, he's got that girlfriend, he shines a light on the wall, and she just follows like, there it is again. Put a link to that. Shout out to James Woods. And shout out once again to the Raccoon. Check it out. Raccoon stuck in a dumpster. Figures out you humans ain't gonna help me. You're just gonna stand there and be assholes. I'll figure this stuff out myself. Check it out. Check him out. He's building a ramp. There you go. There you go. Shout out to the Raccoon. I do it by myself. Put a link to that, and that's all I got. Please give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you think it sucked, it's the worst you've ever seen. You never want to see it again. Please rate, though. It helps me move around. You can also support me on Patreon or directly with DonorBox if you appreciate those reports. I certainly appreciate any support. Also, be sure to follow me on all my links below. The BitChute, the Rumble, the Gabs, the Twitters, the Facebooks. All the links are at the bottom. Tell me your thoughts on what you think is coming next. Here we are approaching the summer of 2023. It is getting hot in St. Louis. It's getting hot across the South. Tornadoes everywhere. We got Donald Trump. Apparently, they're going to try to drag this trial out till after the election. There's people talking about, trying to coerce him into saying, well, you just don't run for a president and we'll let you off the hook. I mean, this is how we do things in America. We got World War III signs everywhere, Operation Blackjack signs everywhere. Got this huge NATO drill going on, these air exercises. I mean, talk of Russia nuking the United States. I mean, we got a lot on our plate. The virus stuff and the vaccine stuff is still pretty much at a lull, but you know, like, you go back and look at Jericho and Operation Blackjack. In Jericho, you had the Hudson River virus. You had one-time inoculations going on in Operation Blackjack. All it would take is, you know, the event, and then they could really do what they want to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into everything. Maybe everything's just as it always was. I don't know. It seems to be getting more maddening, though. Anyway, that's all I got. You guys take care, stay safe. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes on a Sunday while they give you news. I love you very much. Remain vigilant always. I will see you on the next one.